You know the irritating thing about running multiple cameras on something like this? Sometimes you drone on for 10, 12, 14 minutes and the damn thing's not on. Hey folks, welcome back to the Prairie 12-string guitar, which will now and forevermore be referred to as the Prairie Lazarus guitar. Yeah, wow. I've recovered from my initial shock during the unboxing, and have looked at it and thunk about it, and have kind of come up with an initial plan of attack, broken into two pieces, like the guitar, into the neck and the headstock area, and then the body. It's a very dynamic list, because I'm sure that as I find something else will rear its big ugly head, and we're going to have to think about that. So I pulled the truss rod cover off, because if the truss rod doesn't work, then that's a big ass pain. So I pulled the truss rod cover off, and I found this. Hey, isn't that nice? Yeah. Insert your rusty euphemism here. So we're gonna have to break that. We're gonna have to unbind that. Here's the other end of that truss rod, by the way. So when you tighten and loosen that, that's going to put that neck into compression or out of compression, and adjust that bow that we need. If that doesn't work, then we have a lot more work ahead of us, because then this has to come off, or this whole thing has to. It's just ugly if it doesn't work. So that's number one, I would say. Number two, we have to address the machine heads here. There's a bushing missing. And oddly enough, I'm finding it difficult to find the right shaped bushing. What are the chances there? So that's going to have to be dealt with. You can see the rust on the back. Bent. They all turn to varying degrees. So this will be a complete removal, complete disassembly. We used to call them CLAs, a clean lube and adjust, when I was dealing with cameras a lot. So that will have to be dealt with. Condition of the fretboard. There's no physical damage really. There's a couple of little dings here and there. The inlays are raised up from where the wood has shrunk. That's going to have to be dealt with. Some linseed oil. We'll probably take care of that. The nut and the zero nut we'll have to see. Everything I've ever been told about the zero nut is you never dress the zero nut, you leave the zero nut alone. So that's what we'll do, unless dictated to otherwise. This fret that I initially thought had been removed in order to steam the neck off, that's not the case, because there's not a hole drilled into it. At least that I can tell. To get a neck off of a set neck acoustic guitar like this, you can have a bolt-on neck, or you can have a set neck, a dovetail joint. And this is a dovetail joint neck that you insert steam inside here to soften the glue up, and then you can slide that off. Well, that obviously didn't happen because the heel is broken off. There's a dowel hole drilled in here, but the dowel It doesn't even look like, because of the way the glue is, I don't even think a dowel ever made it in there. Or if it did, it was just the most superficial piece going up in there. So that'll have to be dealt with. Old glue and old wood torn off the soundboard will have to be dealt with. The binding is missing on this side. That will have to be dealt with. When this came off, peeled off, decided to abandon ship and jump off itself, it took some of the neck wood away as well. So we'll have to deal with that. Headstock will have to be redone. This is just a decal that's kind of peeling off. I think I've got enough to potentially replicate the pattern. I don't know, we'll see. The plan is I would probably actually get an inlay made for this. And then the Prairie logo on the top, it was also a decal. What we think is a Prairie, and I'm pretty sure it was at one point. We're just going to assume it was. Might get an inlay made for that as well too, because again, if I get to this point and it's playing and I'm worried about how it looks as opposed to whether the darn thing should just be used as tinder, then it would probably deserve the cost of having this made. And then of course getting it back onto the guitar. And speaking of the guitar, or the body, yeah, the body. God, that's ugly. So okay, my short list of things that need to be addressed on the body is the pick guard will be removed and replaced. I had a couple ideas on that, what I could do. This will be taken off and polished up and restrung. That's just standard stuff. The plastic pin here for the strap button is glued in. Yeah, it's glued in. I'll show you that here in a minute. Other big things on the body, there's this humongo sized scratch on the front. Clear through the finish, obviously straight into the wood. Yeah. When they peeled the neck off, here's that dowel on the heel that I was telling you about. You can see this dovetail joint here, that this part will have to be steamed and the glue softened up, pulled that out so that we can do something with that. This is real friable. I mean, you can just see when I push it down here. Yeah, it's real bad. This was dinged really bad. This whole celluloid rosette is going to have to come off. In fact, it's just one piece. As you can see here, it looks like, I don't know, but that's all going to have to be pulled off so that this can be repaired, possibly. Two types of binding on this guitar. The top binding has a 5-layer celluloid that looks like it's in decent enough shape, enough that we could work with it. On the back, there's a single layer of celluloid binding, and there's a nice booger ding right there. We'll see. Speaking of the side of the finish, not sure if that's just the finish checking like that or if we have wood issues because of that. Here it is on the other side. So that will have to be addressed. And then the big deal on the back is this. There's a punch through right there, and there's another one right beside it. More of this finish checking. We'll see. The big thing about this is going to be the braces on the inside. And I've never done this before, but we're going to try something. I'm going to find my handy dandy Pihoni, and we're going to go looking into the body. So yeah, let's take a look at this. Here we go. And now, here you go, the inside of the body. This guitar had standing water in it. So you could see the stains there. Looking at braces right now. Looking at the top, the kerfing looks okay. See that that piece that looks kind of like a castle there? It's called kerfing, and that's the what you put in the corner so that your top and back and sides have a place to meet. See, that brace is pulled up there. I'll have to be reseated. Man, I think this whole thing's coming apart. I really do. That's okay. I bet this looks like really fun out of that camera. Oh, there's another one. Yeah, that's... Oh, look, there's another one. Let's see if we can hit that one. Oh, here we go. Let's try that. Adventures in Cinematography. Man. There is the strap button that I told you about. It is glued in there. That one looks okay. That looks okay. That looks okay. Oh. Yo. Yeah, that's 40% across the body that is cracked. Alright, well, and at one point there was a label. Man, I've looked around for this label on to interwebs quite a bit just to see if I could find that pattern. I haven't seen it yet, but I will keep looking. So there it is. Yeah. Stay tuned. Today's noisy playing in the pattern is brought to you by the C5A Galaxy. Nah, I think it's a C5B. Hey folks, welcome back. I've looked and looked and looked, and this is kind of what I've figured out what needs to be done. This is oh man,